In the great cruise ship tipping debate, a question that is often bandied around is how much does the cabin steward know? Do they know if you prepaid your gratuities? Do they know if you removed your gratuities? And why are they looking at you on the last day of the cruise? What does it mean? Well, I've got an answer. It's coming up right after this. Hey, what's up everybody? Tony with Lido Loca. Welcome to the YouTube channel. If you're into cruising, you like cruising content, consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of our daily uploads. All right, so I've made no bones about it. I am not a huge fan of the current tipping systems on cruise lines, the gratuity systems. There's a few facts that are in play. The first fact is that cruise workers are some of the hardest working people I've ever encountered, working long shifts, working away from home, working in conditions that most of us couldn't tolerate for months on end, trying to make a living and trying to make a better life for themselves and for their family. That is undisputed. Another undisputed fact is their employer are billion-dollar corporations who quarter after quarter make billions of dollars in profit. And then the third component is it's up to us to figure out how much that billion-dollar corporation's prize employees should be paid. We don't have all the information. We just need to figure out how to make sure that these people make a decent living while having a cruise vacation. Without going into a long rant, let me just say I don't think the current system is fair to the employee. I don't think it's fair to the consumer. And I think it's a little bit of an extra burden to put on people that are going on vacation or, heaven forbid, people that are trying to budget for vacation. In this debate, people have often asked, does the cabin steward know if you have prepaid your gratuities? Do they know if you have removed your gratuities? And does that predicate their interaction with you toward the end of the cruise? Well, I can answer at least for Carnival. This question was posed to Carnival brand ambassador John Heald on his Facebook page. Let me read you what the specific question is and what John's answer is, and we'll break it down. All right, so here's the message that was sent to John. This is from a gentleman named Robbie. I have another question, John. We have prepaid gratuities in the past, and they have not appeared on our folio while on board. I am not sure the cabin steward is even told who has deleted the automatic gratuities. Can you tell me if they know, as I do not want them to think I am opting out and paying them nothing? I added not. This is what the gentleman means. So his question here is, when you prepay your gratuities on Carnival, when you get on the cruise ship and you get your final bill, there's no line on there for gratuities. So if you're just looking at that bill and you don't know that the person prepaid, you may think that the person had the gratuities removed. And this person's saying, look, I prepay my gratuities. I want to pay as much as possible in advance. I don't want the cabin steward to think that I stiffed them. And so that's the question he's asking John. Do they actually know? And here's John's response. Yes, indeed. The crew are aware, and the Tuesday after each voyage is over, they will be given the information of how much gratuity they have earned. I always thank everyone for asking anything about taking care of the crew, and certainly prepaying gratuities is getting more popular. Then he puts a poll out, have you ever prepaid gratuities? And 87% to 13% said yes, they prepay the gratuities. So that's an interesting answer. I'm just going to try to glean from it what I can. It does seem like during the cruise, the cabin steward will know who prepaid their gratuities, and at the end of the cruise, they will know who removed their gratuities. And then it sounds like the following Tuesday of a cruise, they will see what the actual number of that gratuity is. So I think that's good for a couple reasons. There are people that budget very specifically for their cruise, and prepaying their gratuity is one way to think about one less thing they have to pay. They're happy to prepay their gratuity and do nothing else. But again, there is this interaction sometimes with the staff toward the end of the cruise that has a feeling, a compulsion that makes you think that maybe you should tip with cash. And at least from this answer, the crew member knows who prepaid their gratuity. So you can have this exchange with the crew member without a compulsion to give and without the worry that the person thinks that you stiffed them. I mean, it's a big deal. I don't want the person that has worked with me all week long to think that I have stiffed them. And at the same time, I'm not going to be guilted into thinking that if I don't pay more than my prepaid gratuity, which is what the cruise line says I should do, that's why they made the system. If I don't pay more than my prepaid gratuity, I don't feel like that I've shorted somebody money that they are expecting. And look, on the flip side of that, if you take off your gratuity and you stand in front of a guy and shake his hand and say thank you, and you don't give him anything out of your pocket and you just don't pay any gratuity at all, I do feel like you're not doing the right thing. I will raise the argument that these people work hard and part of their income, for good or bad, is based on the gratuity of the customer. The guy is gonna know. And so it is that moment where I think you should feel a little bit ashamed. You know that part of their income is based on the tip, and they've worked all week. There's no doubt they haven't worked all week. And I think it's gonna take some gumption just to not to pay these people at all. And I don't think it's right. And let me quickly address those people that say if you only pay your assigned gratuities and you don't give anything extra, that somehow you're not generous, or somehow you're cheap, and somehow you shouldn't even go on a cruise if you can't come out of pocket with extra money. The reality is I'm paying 100% of the cruise salary. I pay it when I book my cruise. I pay it when I book an excursion through the cruise line. I pay it when I buy specialty dining. I pay it when I buy a drink. Everything that I do, I am paying for the crew member's salary. Now, I'm paying it to the management of the cruise company who decides how much to pay those people. I don't have a say in how much they make. It's not on me to determine how much they make. I don't have all the data. When I'm tipping my room steward $20 extra, I don't know how much that affects his wage. Yes, that's $20 extra. That money will go a long way where he's from, but I don't know how much he makes in the first place. And I still contend that that is not my business. I am on a cruise vacation. I am paying to go on vacation. I'm not paying so that I can mitigate some sort of labor construct on a cruise line. It doesn't make you less generous to not worry about labor issues when you're on the cruise. The cruise line has tried to take all of this stress out of it by saying just do the prepaid gratuity. And if they just did that, that would be fine with me. But then they also do these other manipulatory things, like add a line for extra gratuity on some cruise lines, where they give you an envelope to say, didn't somebody do well enough that you need to pay them more money? Or they just have folks come up to you on that last day with that look like, are you going to give me something extra? It's manipulatory. It's dehumanizing to the people that they put in that position. How about this? Take some of those $1 billion of profit and just pay people better. All right, so I'll get off the soapbox. The big takeaway, at least on Carnival, is the room steward knows. And so act accordingly. Don't stiff these people. They work hard. Thanks for stopping by. Tony with Lido Loca. And until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.